All right, first shots, Shadow, 7 yards. I like it. All right, so a couple small pliers here, other than that, good group. So first shots, love the Shadow 2 Accu Shadow. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Today, yet another CZ product, as I think I have finally found my best CZ yet, and that is the Shadow 2 Accu from CZ Custom Shop. It is a Shadow 2 from CZ that has been enhanced by the folks out in Arizona at the CZ Custom Shop, who have a, I think, loose partnership with actual CZ proper. So can't wait to take a look at this awesome firearm. Just got home from my local store and I picked this up. And I want to look at it with you and get it all lubed up and take it to the range. Hopefully you saw some range footage before this, and hopefully I love it there as much as I love it here. But for the unboxing piece, you'll see that this standard box is what's housing the CZ Accu Shadow. This is the same box you get if you buy a $400 P10 or a more expensive Shadow 2. They pretty much all come in these same boxes, I believe. On this side, you get, I think, some additional stickers from CZ Custom that labels this the Accu Shadow 2. And again, this is a standard Shadow 2, which was already a fantastic gun that CZ Custom takes and makes even better. So I mentioned the box, it's pretty much a standard box. Inside you get a few things that aren't normally included with the standard CZ box. We'll take a look at those before we get to the firearm. Up top, you get the stupid lock, sorry. You get a standard Shadow 2 manual, which is a pretty thorough manual, as well as the warranty information, exploded view, all the things you expect in there. But you also get this tool, which you're going to need to take this apart. I'll show you at the end. This CZ Custom Shop tool to remove the bushing up front on front of the firearm. You get some more information about how to work the safety here and specs on some work that CZ Custom did to the firearm. And you also get the test firing from CZ Custom. You can see that this was tested on February 2021. This gun's an older gun, but it's been sitting in my local gun store for a couple of years. Fired by Donnie on that date, and he shot 5 rounds, and there's his groupings. Also importantly, he measured the pulls at 8 pounds for double action and 3 1/4 pounds for single action. And I'll tell you, this trigger, I've got a lot of really good triggers. This trigger feels better than almost any trigger I have, I think. It's a fantastic trigger they put in there at CZ Custom. Again, they took a good trigger and made it great. You also get your standard nylon rod cleaning brush. You get some tools just to install things if you need, like potentially a different size safety if you want to do that. I like the one that's on here already. And you get some extra kind of buffers here for the recoil system. And again, hopefully I'll get this apart and we can look at that. The gun also comes with 3 17-round magazines. You have one in the firearm and you have 2 here. These are the 17-rounders from CZ. I believe these are interchangeable with all the other Shadow 2s and CZ 75s. And you also get this very heavy, fantastic, and beautiful firearm, the Shadow 2 from CZ, with some extra work done by the fine folks at CZ Custom. So put that aside for now. Take a close-up look at this beautiful gun. I didn't write down all the specs. I'll just tell you this is a full-size gun. I think it's just under a 5-inch barrel. Steel frame, steel slide, of course. Double action, single action, 9mm firearm. That was really designed for target and competition shooting, which I don't do either of those. I just try to show off at the range with these cool guns. I mentioned it's heavy, again with the steel frame. It weighs about 2 pounds, 11 ounces, unloaded. Once it's loaded, it has even more weight. So love, love, love the heft of this gun. That's my favorite way to reduce recoil, is fight it with weight, good steel. So again, on the outside, it looks very much like a standard Shadow 2, but there's a couple of key differences that you'll see as I walk through the firearm that the CZ Custom Shop did that make it different. Again, I mentioned double action, single action, hammer fired gun, chambered in 9mm. Again, this is the CZ Shadow 2. These are made in the Czech Republic, now Czechia, and no longer Czechoslovakia. And on this side, you do have this is a safety only. You have an ambi safety, and you can see they're headquartered here in the USA, and you have a serial number on the frame, the slide, and the barrel, if I can get that to focus. So starting up front, actually I'll just start up front, where that's the first thing you'll see different about the Shadow 2 Accu, or as I like to call it, the Accu Shadow, and that is this bushing they put up front on the barrel to help hold the barrel in place. And we'll take a closer look at that as we get to it, but this is to keep the barrel stable and make the gun even more accurate. So that's the CZ Custom Shop's logo there. So beautiful, beautiful work they've done on this. Up top, you've got a standard fiber optic front sight. You've got anti-glare reduction kind of markings across the top. And the other thing CZ Custom did before, also the trigger, but they also replaced the rear sight with a fully adjustable rear sight. So your sight picture's got this blacked out rear with the serrations to that front post there. So beautiful sight picture. As with all CZ75s, you have the inverted rail, which is one of my favorite features. It's a way that show clear for those that care, by the way. Just came home from the store. This thing is brand new, but you can see that the slides ride inside of the rail. So the slide sets lower and you have less mass coming back. And that's one thing I think that makes this a flat shooter. Not necessarily a lower bore axis, maybe a little bit, but you just have less mass coming back when you fire the firearm. Now, that also means it's harder to rack, so you have less to grab a hold of up here, but the cocking serrations front and rear are actually really, really good. So you can cock it either way. Again, very, very functional. Also up front, you have a 1-slot pick rail, which seems interesting. You have so much real estate here, but you have a 1-slot rail there if you want to put lights or weights or whatever on there. Again, very sleek looking gun. The finish is beautiful. And I mentioned it has an ambi safety. There's nothing else on this, no slide stop on this side, only over here. Again, the safety's engaged right hand or left hand, very easy to actuate. When the safety's engaged, trigger's dead, nothing happens. There is no way to decock the firearm, so you can't carry it with one in the chamber unless you drop it very carefully, which I would never ever recommend. I don't really understand the point of well, I think you need a decocker, but who's asking me? I keep walking around the gun. You do have kind of serrations here on the front of the trigger guard is rounded. You have the same standard CZ-shaped trigger guard, which has a little bit of almost a hook here. And I love the kind of undercut there. Makes plenty of room for gloved fingers if you need to. You have a nice undercut here as well, so you get a nice, good purchase on the firearm. And you have fantastic, fantastic checkering on the front strap and the back strap here. Again, these steel guns don't have adjustable back straps like the polymer guns, but to me, CZ just figured out the ergonomics in 1975 because this gun fits my hands perfectly as a big steel gun. The Shadow 2s come normally in blue grips, aluminum grips. This one came with black, which I'm excited about. I already have a blue one, so good to have a blue and a black. And I personally think the black looks better. You do have an extended mag release there, big chunky guy. So when I shoot this way, it doesn't, well, I do feel it. We'll see if I want to lower that or not. Probably will leave it as it is, but very, very easy to actuate. And again, you have, as always, the big curve, big swooping back panel of the CZ75 with the big beaver tail here. No chance ever of slide bite, but it just makes this gun feel so good in your hands. Now, I mentioned the trigger. This thing, they rate them between double action between a 7.5 and 8.5 pounds, and single action between 3 and 4 pounds. And the smoothness of this trigger is one thing I can't say enough good things about. In double action mode, and this, by the way, does not have a firing pin block, so it should be safe to dry fire. In double action mode, that is the lightest double action I've ever felt in my life. Honestly, it's better than most single actions of a lot of my guns. Just a fantastic double action that I can't get over how smooth and beautiful that is. Then the single actions, again, see how much room you have when the firearm is cocked. Single action, you have a millimeter of take up, if even that, and you're instant at the wall and it breaks. Just a fantastic. And to look at the reset, this is really the beauty of it. They installed the short reset trigger in here, and that reset is here. That's it. You're right back at the wall. One more time. There, and back at the wall. And again, weight is good, the reset's good. The smoothness of this trigger, it is like butter. It's absolutely a fantastic trigger. So that is a walk around this beautiful, beautiful firearm. The CZ Shadow 2, which was an amazing firearm to start with. Now CZ Custom is taking it to the next level with an upgraded trigger to an already fantastic trigger, back sights, and this bushing up front to help hold the barrel in place for accuracy. This assembly is a little different than most CZ75s. I'll attempt that here. Hopefully I can do it without having to stop and edit. But to take down any CZ75, you want to line these dots up here, and then push through on this button back here, and the slide stop comes out. Now, YouTube, this is in the manual, how to disassemble the firearm and clean and maintain it. I'm not making any modifications here. But this is new and hard to push out. I like to use the base plates of these with rubber mags to push that through. I'll try it on camera first if I can't get it. Actually, I'll just take it off camera now. It's so new and stiff. And there, I finally get to push through, and you can see this pops out. So I couldn't get that done on camera. But once you have that popped out, and you pull this out, if you can get your hands in there, again, brand new. And this just pulls right out. Then the barrel, or the slide rather, comes right off. Inside here, just look at the craftsmanship. This beautiful firearm. I'm not sure what that number represents. The finish is beautiful. I'm gonna leave this apart so I can lubricate it. Up here, this assembly again is different than standard CZ75. You can't take the recoil spring off. This is not captured. You can see the steel guide rod comes out, and there are those bushings you can replace after they start to get worn. So they give you extras of those, very nice. Normally the barrel will just come out, but it's locked in with the bushing here. So here I'm going to need this tool that is provided by CZ Custom to help kind of turn the bushing. And to do this, you want to kind of tap that. Now there's no recoil spring holding that in there. Tap this down, and I can't turn it with my hand. Take the CZ Custom Shop wrench, turn this a quarter turn, like this, and you'll see this comes right off. And then now the barrel can come up this way, and there is your standard barrel. So that is how you take down a CZ75 Shadow 2 Accu Shadow from CZ Custom. Again, looking here at the craftsmanship. No firearm pin block, of course. And this, I believe, stays in there. To reassemble it, it all goes back in. Bushing goes on, and you can see how it locks up here. Push that forward. And rotate this a quarter turn, or rotate this down. And now they're lined up. Spring back in. The recoil spring goes in with the flat side being down. And it's hard when it gets bound up like that. So recoil spring back in there. Put the firearm back on the rails. Uh-oh. Again, this is just like butter too, slides so easily. Line these back up. Put the slide stop back through. Check for function. And the safety won't cock unless the hammer's cocked. The safety won't engage, this hammer's back, and everything works perfectly. So there is my first look at what I think could be my best CZ yet, my CZ Shadow 2 Accu Shadow from CZ Custom. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have any experience with CZ Custom. All right, my first 100 shots started here. 7 yards. Second group at 7 yards. That backed up to 10 yards. Then 12 yards. And then back to 7 yards. In love with this gun.